Oh, hi. Well, good morning, everyone, and what an awesome day it is today to have my great partner and colleague, Pete Hegseth from our incredible Department of War and his team who is here with him. It's just such a joy, Pete, to get to work with you and work on these important projects together. Before I start official comments, a couple of introductions. Our incredible Undersecretary here at USDA of Research, Scott Hutchins, is here. Our Office of Chief Scientist, Executive Director, Kate Six is here, and our DARPA Director, I should say Department of War's DARPA Director, Stephen Winchell, is here as well. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your hard work. I know and often say that, Pete and I, and certainly I know Scott and Kate and others, you all represent an literal army of people, no pun intended, when you were here, but also the incredible work that's been done by both of these teams to get to today. We're just so grateful. So thank you. Thank you so very much for that. When we reflect on what needs to be protected in our nation, we rightly point to our lives and our liberty, as the founding fathers did 250 years ago. And those are excellent answers, but life and liberty rely upon something that's, in a sense, even more fundamental, and that is our land. The America we know and love would not have been possible without the farmland of the Great Plains, the water supplied by the Rocky Mountains, or the rich minerals and timber resources of the Appalachians. American greatness is inseparable from American land and American agriculture. In other words, farm security is national security. When our farmland is threatened, the welfare of the entire nation is put on the line. It is undeniable that America's enemies are playing the long game, infiltrating our research institutions, stealing our technology, launching cyber attacks on our food system, and buying up our farmland. China alone owns 265,000 acres of American agricultural land. Back in 1983, it was only 2,000 acres. These actions expose strategic vulnerabilities in America's food and agriculture supply chain. Thankfully, President Trump, the first president to truly understand that protecting the homeland must begin with protecting our farmland. To that end, over the summer, USDA released our National Farm Security Action Plan. Very grateful that Secretary Hegseth, along with several of other cabinet colleagues, were here when we announced that. And what that plan did was elevate American agriculture as a key element of national security for the first time in history. This action plan served as the launch point for USDA to work in further unison with governors, state legislators, and other partners, such as the Department of Justice, to integrate agriculture into broader national security efforts over the coming months and years. We have already begun working with state partners in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and beyond to take swift legislative and executive action to end the purchase of American farmland by foreign adversaries. Several states have taken bold action on this front. I think it's important. I want to just shout out, I believe perhaps the strongest state so far has been Arkansas, under the leadership of our governor there, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who has made it clear that farmland is off limits to foreign adversaries. And Governor Jim Pillen of Nebraska has been another warrior on this front. We're also working with about a half a dozen other governors as they're moving into their legislative sessions right now. We have also taken a slew of other decisive actions to secure the farmland, protect critical supply chains, defend nutrition programs from fraud and foreign influence, strengthen research security, and ensure that America First policies are all across USDA programs. This includes publishing a notice of rulemaking on modernizing reporting requirements of foreign investment in U.S. agricultural land under AFIDA, or the Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Act, developing an online filing system for enhanced AFIDA reports to provide an alternative to the in-person filing of paper reports, launching an online portal for farmers, ranchers, and the public to report possible false or failed reporting of foreign investments in U.S. ag land, working across the federal government to designate key fertilizer inputs as critical minerals, rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse in our nutrition programs, which is rampant, terminating contractors and visiting scientists who have citizenship from countries of concern, standardizing terms and conditions across all USDA grant and cooperative agreement programs, and blocking taxpayer funding for solar panels from China and prohibiting bio-preferred certifications to entities located in countries of concern. Without a doubt, these actions are already better protecting our borders, enhancing domestic agricultural production, and improving outcomes for American consumers. Today, I am excited to announce that we are taking our National Farm Security Action Plan to the next level by pairing USDA's agricultural expertise with the Department of War's innovation and security capabilities. In just a few minutes, Secretary Hegseth and I will sign a memorandum of understanding that paves the way for additional collaboration between the Department of War and the United States Department of Agriculture. Our very first action to implement the MOU will be through a new partnership between the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, with DARPA, and the USDA Chief Scientist. This will allow, first, the sharing of information regarding security vulnerabilities in agriculture. Second, collaboration to develop novel technological solutions to American agriculture's biggest challenges. And third, the exchange of personnel to ensure both departments are well equipped to protect American agriculture. To further support these efforts today, USDA is also creating the Office of Research, Economic, and Science Security within the USDA Office of the Chief Scientist. This new office will be responsible for coordinating research security efforts across the entire USDA research enterprise, including both intramural and extramural activities. This action builds upon USDA's efforts to implement the National Security Presidential Memorandum 33 from the first Trump administration and other research security directives. Together, this slew of concrete actions announced today underscores USDA's continued commitment to treating agriculture as a cornerstone of national security and ensuring America's farms, food supply, and research institutes remain secure and resilient. President Trump is deeply passionate about protecting our farmland and protecting our farmland, especially from foreign adversaries. I have heard this from him time and time again, both in Trump 1 and in our second term now, and we will not rest until our land is fully secure. Together, we can and must protect and expand the resilience and durability of the United States food and agriculture supply chain. At this time, what an honor, again, to have Secretary Pete Hegseth alongside us here. And I'll just note that as Secretary and I were in a cabinet Bible study this morning, talking about being called to meet this moment in American history and what it means to work, just as our founders envisioned, just as the founder of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Abraham Lincoln, envisioned, truly the light on the hill for the world and the beacon of freedom and hope. But what Secretary Hegseth, his leadership with his incredible team have done over at the Department of War in just a year is truly remarkable, and the opportunity to partner with that team to ensure that we're protecting our ag lands and our food supply, from my perspective, couldn't be more important and such a timely move. And with that, I'll hand it over to Secretary Hegseth, and I just thank him from the bottom of my heart for his willingness to lean in and lead on this when he has so many priorities on his plate. So, Secretary Hegseth, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Secretary Rollins. Brooke, for your incredible leadership. Our Army once had a slogan. It was not a good one for the Army, but it's a good one for you. An Army of one. That's what you are here in this institution. And you got a whole team, you got a whole department you're driving, but you are a force of nature in making things happen. A leader inside our cabinet and someone we count on and appreciate. So it's an honor to partner with you, as we did back in, I believe, July, and still today, and our teams have been working ever since. That's the point. I actually don't know how administrations previous got things done or actually executed change without cabinet secretaries who were willing to work together on key issues. I think books written about teams of rivals were written for Hollywood scripts, not for good governance. And what you have here is a team, an actual team at the cabinet level, committed to the president's agenda of putting America first, whether it's at the War Department or the Agriculture Department, and that's certainly why we're here today. As we first presented in July and are building on today, the National Farm Security Action Plan is a necessary step towards safeguarding our homeland against malign foreign influence. You see, you mentioned a city on a hill, and that's exactly what America is. America is the best of ideas, but America is actually also a place. It is a land that we must defend at every single echelon, from space to the farm field. In this modern age of warfare, threats can manifest in a variety of different ways with a variety of different actors, whether it's aerial drones, bioweapons, deadly narcotics smuggled across our border, or the infiltration of critical supply chains. One thing is certain: the future fight is not a linear, straightforward operation. Our warriors in our department must remain ready to confront any and all threats that jeopardize the safety, security, and prosperity of the American people, and that includes the agricultural sector. Something people may not know is that shortly after 9/11, U.S. forces in Afghanistan uncovered al-Qaeda training manuals that specifically targeted America's agriculture for attack. Bottom line is, we're not dealing with hypotheticals here. The threat is real, it is asymmetric, and it must be neutralized. Brooke, as you said, food security is national security, full stop. And under the leadership of President Trump, we're continuing to put America and Americans first by directly confronting these vulnerabilities, not hiding from them, not papering them over, not pretending they don't exist, attacking them head on. So today's memorandum of understanding furthers the activities of three key objectives between DOW and USDA. We're going to promote agricultural and economic prosperity, defend the foundations of agriculture and food, real food, I will note. Good job. Love the pyramid. And strengthening domestic and agricultural productivity. Together, we're elevating the protection of U.S. agriculture into America's national security framework by ensuring systems remain protected against potential terror attacks, major disasters, and other emergencies with the full support of the Department of War and the national security enterprise. We believe the American people would expect nothing less. Additionally, in partnership with the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, which I had a chance to go see myself just a couple of months ago in a great visit, they can do things, they can design things, they can bring things to life that no other agency across the federal government is remotely capable of. Working with them, we will ensure agriculture projects directly enhance our military's strength and readiness. We'll also leverage increased agriculture research, development, and innovation to support the revitalization of our defense industrial base. We've been a part of a tour, rebuilding the Arsenal of Freedom tour across the country, talking to defense contractors, telling them they need to go faster and innovate and invest in their own companies ahead of need. This is an extension of that, ensuring that ahead of need, ahead of that moment, ahead of that crisis, we are prepared. We have the munitions, we have the protections, and in agriculture that we have the food security required for those that defend us and the American people. Through the efforts established today, our message to the world is clear. No longer will America be complacent with the threats of ag terrorism or bioterrorism. Just as we need to secure our border and our hemisphere, which this is a part of, to defend our sovereignty, so too we need to secure our farms. You probably don't know this. I have a little bit of a connection. I can't claim much of a connection, but both of my grandfathers were farmers. One was a cattle farmer, and the other ran the local hatchery at my parents' chicken farmer. So a little bit of a connection. Most Americans have some connection at some level to this idea. We cannot and will not allow foreign adversaries, as the Secretary said, continue to exploit our agricultural homeland. Whether it's near our basing, whether it's near critical infrastructure, our department is working with the Ag Department to ensure we know who is where and why, and those that shouldn't be there are removed. because it's those types of vulnerabilities can't exist in today's asymmetric world. The Department of War is committed to working with our interagency partners to defend our nation on every front with every capability at our disposal. Because at the end of the day, strong farms lead to an even stronger America. So Brooke, thank you very much for your leadership. And how about we sign the MOU? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.